course. So we'll have to again continue our discussions, and specifically the main subject of discussion across the mainstream media has been the reactions following that very Wongbo demonstration put together by the leadership of the MPP, which according to the estimates was attended by thousands, if not in excess close to 1 million people. It depends on which international media you're monitoring, but also which local media you're also monitoring. And we have in the studio Kwabna Ochre Dakobenta. He's a member of parliament for Takrady in the Western region. He's also a member of the MPP, of course. And how are you, sir?
I'm fine.
All right. You're a biochemist, aren't you?
Yes.
All right. But what's your reaction to how your supporters especially reacted to the call for the demonstration that was convened on Wednesday?
First and foremost, I think we need to appreciate that this is not only the MPP that was there. There were other people from other walks of life who joined us, because I saw some seamstresses there. And a young man was even carrying this sewing machine, the hand sewing machine, and he said that initially he had sent it to the village for his younger brother to use it, but because of the doing so, he's brought it back to Accra to use it because he didn't have money to purchase another one. I believe that the call that the party made was embraced by all, and if you look at the massive turnout, it was very, very huge. In fact, when I got to Kingsway, I tried to look back and see whether I could see more people. In fact, I could see people all the way back to Circle. And there were a lot of people also ahead of us because they had come from Bawe. So I feel that it was a very massive demonstration, and clearly you should tell the government that there's something really wrong with the management of the economy, and therefore they need to set up. I mean, if you can get Al Jazeera and BBC to cover this demonstration and then give these estimates, because that's what they've been doing all over the place. Clearly it shows you that there's something really wrong. And for yesterday, Nanado Danko Akufo-Addo was there. He worked with us all the way. So if people say that he's an old man, sometimes I wonder what they are trying to talk about. So I feel that the response was very good. When we got to the market women came. I also did a few interviews in London and stuff like that.
But there were concerns that were raised that the agreed routes that the leadership of the party had negotiated with the top hierarchy of the police service had not been followed through. Well, the concerns had been raised by the police as well towards the latter parts of yesterday. But we have on the line ASP Fiatinge. She is the PRO for the Accra Regional Police Command, or the Accra Region Police Command. And thanks for joining us, ASP. But in the meantime, those concerns you're raising, you're still raising them, and how do you hope to resolve those disagreements with the police, with the MPP leadership, especially for flouting your regulations?
Thank you very much, Roland. And may I also take this opportunity to salute your cherished listeners. Yes, this morning we are going to invite, if you have already not even called them already, we are going to invite the organizers of the demonstration, the MPP demonstration yesterday, for them to explain certain actions of theirs that brought to the defining of the route that both of us had sat down to agree upon, that we're going to use these specific rules that were outlined for everybody to see. But I believe that when we do so, the outcome of the meeting probably shall be made to the general public.
Indeed, you have been commended for the yeoman's job you did in providing security for the demonstration on Wednesday. But there have been concerns that even though you had agreed on routes, you had early on communicated to the leadership of the party about the route, and you had stated, especially about the section UTC, which following that you had also come to amend to TUC. But they said they had already communicated that to the entire supporter base of their membership. As a result of that, perhaps there was a miscommunication. Would you take that as a response?
Yes, Roland, we cannot take that as an excuse at all. This was a typographical error, and it can happen at any time. And immediately the police detected that, we went back to the court for that rectification to be made, or for that correction to be made. And within an hour period, the police went back to serve the organizers of the New Patriotic Party. And I believe by then they hadn't even, route even to the demonstrators or supporters. So we can't hide behind that at all to come up with this argument. Not at all.
Okay, I have to let you go if you have the time. But before I let you go, though, according to the report we're monitoring, the MPP is expected to organize a lot more of such demonstrations. It means that the cooperation with you will be needed, and you are also cooperating with them, I believe.
Of course, why not? It is our mandate to do so. It is not by our wish that we are providing security and protection. It is a law that is directing and instructing police officers to give the necessary security and protection for anybody who wishes or desires to embark on a demonstration. So if they want to embark on a demonstration, it is our responsibility to provide the necessary security for those who are demonstrating and also those who are also not part of the demonstration. But I believe and I know that after today's meeting, the outcome of the meeting or discussion will be made with all of you.
Well, thank you very much, ASP Ifyatinge, and thanks for speaking to us. And ASP Ifyatinge is a PRO for Accra Police Command for the Ghana Police Service. And your reactions to what she said?
First and foremost, I believe that the police should congratulate us for having a very peaceful demonstration, and also taking them to part of their work. Maybe for some time they've not tried to experiment. Because if they are saying that the UTC area is a very busy area and therefore it becomes difficult to control crowd, and they've been able to control the crowd with us, then I believe that they should give us a thumbs up. I believe that also the order they took from the court clearly also showed that they did not really agree with our people, the organizers, before they went to court. Because if they agreed, there wouldn't have been any basis for going to court. And she has also admitted that the notice they brought to our party mentioned UTC. So if you have made that first mistake,
you are also expected to make the second mistake. Is that what happened?
We are not expected to make the second mistake.
Because that's
but the
what
fact of the matter is that is what we wanted to do. And if you have brought an order that stipulated that we can pass
and later corrected.
Yeah, but maybe we had given the instructions already, because organizing such demonstrations is not an easy thing. You know that. And I believe that the police should congratulate the MPP for giving them the opportunity to have an exercise that they've not done before. I believe that going forward, it shows that people passing through...
Somebody will say, making some comments that, well, you have afforded the police opportunity almost like a dress rehearsal.
Yeah,
okay, we do understand that, but somebody will consider that very statement as a tongue-in-cheek.
No, it's not. It's not at all.
Quite sarcastic.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not.
Because I believe that the police are a professional organization, and they have been trained and equipped to undertake what they have to undertake, what they have to do.
The MPP party is also a professional party. So if they are a professional organization, we are also a professional party. And then going on demonstration is a guaranteed under the Constitution. The police don't have any power to stop any demonstration in this country. You understand? If they think that they don't have the manpower to do it, they usually go to court and say change the venue or change the date. Okay? If the court grants, that's okay with them. And we feel that even going to court without even telling us was also not fair. We have also felt like that.
You mean it was in bad faith?
Yes, we think so. We think that was in bad faith. And then when you go to court and you get that UTC, and then you go and change it later, okay? If it had been a proper court issue, not an expert, we could have also maybe gotten the opportunity to argue our case out to the judge, and then maybe the judge would have given us the space to.
We've had some reactions. We've had some reactions from political scientists this morning, and what they have been raising is, at least mixed reactions, is you don't provide the alternative to government. You don't tell government that, well, we feel you are doing this wrong and this is how you should do it. But you're saying we feel you are doing this wrong and it is wrong. That's all. Provide solutions, they say.
You see, sometimes when I hear that, I laugh. Because then this one with a manifesto. And that manifesto is supposed to deliver the panacea for our problems.
And you feel you can do it, your party. Provide the solutions.
I'm getting there. So first and foremost, the NDC should tell Ghanaians that we are failed. They should accept, even when you are going to HEPIC, you should go and accept that you are HEPIC before they give you the money or the releases. So the NDC should come out boldly and say, we are failed. So MPP, give us solutions. They should do that. They don't want to admit that one, do they? Two, in this country, there's supposed to be one president and one cabinet, isn't it? So if they say we should come and sit with them at the table, are they trying to tell us that we should get two presidents to come and sit at the table?
But that's not possible.
Yes, so if it's not possible,
we have one that has
been recognized by the then they should come and tell the whole Ghana they have failed.
Or she has been sworn into office.
Yes, because then if that is the case, They went to Senchi. Didn't they go to
They
Senchi?
invited you, you didn't go.
Because the basis for the invitation was wrong. And we've told them. They don't want to correct it because they are arrogant. They think that they know everything, but every solution they provided didn't solve the problem.
And your party thinks they don't know anything.
We think that what? We don't
And
know.
your party thinks that the NDC doesn't know anything.
We think that they're not doing the right thing.
Because practically that's not what
we
you say.
We feel that they're not doing the right thing. Because if they want us to give them suggestions, I believe that all the press conferences, all the parliamentary debates that we've done, we've been offering solutions. They don't want to listen. Currently, what we are telling them is that if you create another ministry for power and you don't give them the money, it's the same thing. Give them the money to buy the diesel.
That's another suggestion you're giving.
Yes. So if you don't do it, and then
to you, that's good advice.
Yes, but you have to,
and you feel will not take.
We have generators that can deliver 126 megawatt of energy using diesel. Crude oil prices have come down to $44 from 120, and the government tells me they still cannot provide the money to buy the diesel, or diesel is expensive. Then they are being cheap. They are taking Ghanaians to be cheap. I feel that they have to solve the problem. If they don't have the money, they should tell Ghanaians they don't.
You mean the immediate problem?
Yes, they need to solve the problems, and they can solve. We're giving a lot of suggestions. So the issue of why should we go to demonstration when we can offer solutions? We've offered them enough solutions they should be able to use. If they can't do that, that's their problem.
Mr. Dakuman, how about this? If you look at the pattern of voting, you look at the votes that usually have been recorded by the NDC and NPP from 2000, 2004, 2008, 2012. Yeah. It is possible that both parties can amass people onto the streets. Okay, so if you go on this very tangent, you amass thousands or close to 1 million of your supporters onto the street. The ruling party also has the same supporter base. So where are we going from with all these demonstrations? Do you get my argument?
There's something called symbolisms in politics. Okay. There have been a lot of other demonstrations. Okay, they've been connected to all the political parties from CJ to whatever. But the numbers have not been like this one. That should show a certain kind of signal to the government. I also personally believe that the election voting numbers that the NDC usually get, I don't believe in those numbers.
Well, that's your belief.
Let me give you some statistics. Let me give you some statistics.
We have nothing to disprove that, so to speak.
Yes. Let me give you some statistics. I mean, the presidential and parliamentary elections are popular elections. Okay? So how come that the numbers that MPP represent in parliament is 120,000 more than the NDC representation? President John Mahama.
You mean the sum of the numbers?
Yes, some of the numbers.
You don't think
these are popular elections? No,
you don't think it is possible somebody goes to vote for the presidency and doesn't vote for parliament?
It doesn't happen. Anytime you see that it has happened like that, there's some mischievous.
As of now, you don't have a scientific basis to make those conclusions.
No. The ones that I've made.
You are making analysis based on the numbers. We all do those analyses. Okay.
Yes.
So, for example, it is possible that you're a member of parliament for Takoradi. Yeah. Somebody goes to vote for John Mahama, went to vote for John Mahama in the last election, but voted for you as a parliamentary leader because they believe in you.
Yes.
And they believe in John Mahama being the president.
Yeah, but the difference
I do understand.
You know,
I do understand all the things that you talk about, the difference. We all do those analyses, but it's not based on this scientific study. It's just based on the numbers that we see.
But what are the numbers supposed
to show? Somebody could have abstained from voting for the presidency or voting for the numbers.
The numbers, like you know, are calculated at the polling station. And the numbers are supposed to be interpreted. So if I'm interpreting the numbers, I don't think there's anything wrong
back
with
to
it.
the demonstration.
Yes.
Why would you say that you consistently would want to put together more demonstrations? You've already had one that gives indication that you have the support and your membership is behind you. Why do you need to organize more as a party?
We need to do more to remind our people that we are still with them. In their difficulties, we are there with them.
By demonstrating?
Yes. Because if you take even this demonstration, a lot of Ghanaians even ask that we do something like this to show the government that we mean business.
You mean a lot?
Just talking on radio.
You mean a lot of your supporters? Because Ghanaians,
a lot of Ghanaians were there.
Because the composition of Ghanaians, as you say, is not only about your membership. It's also about the membership of the other political parties, which even includes the ruling parties.
I saw some of the political party activists there.
Who?
I saw Kabila there. I saw Kabila there. Yes. So I know that a lot of the CPP, some of them were there. I know that naturally some of the PP people, the CPP, PNC, all of them do. I know some of them will be there. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it. As far as Ghanaians were there, that's the most important thing. Because many people are also Ghanaians. I also saw seamstresses. beauticians. And I was talking about this Oyade guy, you know. So it's very, very important that we appreciate that Ghanaians, not only the MPP that was there, it's just that we were the rallying point, but we invited every Ghanaian who felt that this government was not performing properly to join, and they joined. And I believe that's why we're able to amass those numbers.
In your view, when do you think will be the next time that the MPP will quickly, following the demonstration that has been put together on Wednesday, need to organize the next one?
Oh, I
like next week?
No.
Like next 2 weeks?
That's our strategy.
Like, okay.
So I'll not sit here and tell you. We'll do it when we think it's most favorable, and the Ghanaian people want us to do it. That's what we're going to do.
Following the demonstration yesterday, there were comments by some leaders of your party that gave indication or lightening this very picketing to perhaps even concerns that were raised before, where a leader in neighboring Cote d'Ivoire was removed and leaving Arab Spring, etc. But if we do a contest analysis of post demonstrations that were organized in those countries, they've not been too good for the stability of the country.
I believe that yesterday, Ronaldo was very clear in his submission that we're doing a peaceful demonstration, and I wanted to let the government know that it is not going well because there's bad governance, and that any member of our party who is in the queue, or any person who is in the queue or part of the demonstration, if it goes wayward, the police should deal with that person. And Ronaldo said this before we started the movement. So clearly for me, I don't think that we are doing this to change government. Now, no, we are not interested. We believe in the ballot box. We believe that 7 December when we go to the poll 2016,
Ghanaians would have known
yes.
your intentions.
So we are not here to do like maybe other people did it. We are a very responsible opposition. We believe in the constitution of this country. We have also used the constitution to.
So you're not creating a situation of acrimony as well as insecurity for the ruling government?
Not at all. Not at all. And I believe that yesterday demonstrated that we're a peace-loving party, and another Danko Akufo-Addo is a peace-loving person. So I believe that Ghanaians should understand where we are coming from. We have never been boisterous. We've been peaceful on that demonstration, and everybody was happy. That went on successfully, smoothly, and we got our message out. So for us, that's what we want to do. And we will wait our turn, December 7th, so that Ghanaians will
the composition of the participants, beyond the neutrals or even the other political party members who came, that is for CPP, PNC, etc. Your members, where did you take them from? All in Accra, or some were based from other?
Nobody was based from anywhere. Nobody. I didn't bus anybody from Takrady because I believe that there are.
But on the contrary, there have been media reports.
We didn't go there with our party colors. I didn't go there with my party colors.
Have not your documents, and on the contrary, there have been media reports that gave indications that members were based from
where?
Different locations.
From where I didn't bus anybody, so I don't know if anybody was based, because I even asked Wahumbi whether he brought people. He said no. There are enough people in Accra to do it.
Following that, there have been reactions by the NDC. Do you think that the government is trying to perhaps turn a blind eye to the concerns that have been raised by not only your party but also the entire Ghanaian public?
Now, I'm happy that you are now using the word entire Ghanaian public. At least it shows that the concerns you are raising is not only an MPP concern. Every Ghanaian is suffering from this. If the government is turning a blind eye, that is their problem. That is their problem in the sense that it shows how uncaring
I'm asking. I didn't conclude that they are turning a blind eye.
That's what he said. It also shows that they are insensitive and unresponsive to the needs of Ghanaians. They should just buy diesel and put it in the generator so that the temperature can come down.
It's not as easy as you say.
Why is it not as easy?
Why do you
Other government, the President Kufuor was able to do it. Why shouldn't a young person who says is the president?
Why do you make those conclusions? Because
I'm making those conclusions because when they were coming to power, they said they'll fix the problem. So if they are not fixing the problem, it means that they are being insensitive. They don't care anymore because they've won the vote. So maybe that's what they are showing us. They are just being insensitive. They just don't care. That's what they are telling us. Because if they cared, they will do whatever it takes to raise the money to buy put diesel in those generators. Because it has been done before. This is not new science. It has been done before. So it shows that they just don't care. And that's where I'm coming from. So the NDC, we all know, has a problem with governance. I mean, value for money. I mean, in this country. After 2008, the cost of 1 kilometer of asphalt is expected to be about $228,000. That's the figures being by Africa Development Bank. Today at the NDC, they are doing for $1 million per kilometer of asphalt. So we are not getting value for money. We all know the problems with the Ridge Hospital matter. Well, even Crown Agent feels that has been overvalued by $124 million. Why are they taking all those monies to? So I feel that if we can save from all these corrupt practices, it will help us as a country to have enough money to buy diesel. So these are some of the suggestions we are giving them. How come 6 classroom block should be costing us 350,000 Ghana cedis?
Well, according to a reaction from government communicators, those are just isolated incidents.
They are not isolated incidents.
And that truthfully, they are not true.
They are not isolated incidents. The amount of money we are paying on interest in this country are so huge.
Like?
It's about the second item we pay in terms of expenditure in this country. They are very huge. And most of the time,
public expenditure?
Yes, they are also very huge. And if you borrow too much and you don't use them for productive ventures, what happens is that at the end of the day, we tend to pay more for it. Because if
what do you mean by investing in non-productive ventures? We have airports, we have various interchanges that ultimately will translate into prudent economic livelihoods for many people.
I agree where you are coming from. But if the cost,
I'm coming from the way I see things.
If the cost is more than what it's supposed to actually be, then we're not being productive. If the cost of putting an interchange is too expensive, or we are not getting value for it, then it's not productive. That's where I'm coming from. So I've not changed the situation at all.
Okay. Yesterday there were some figures that were given by the Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana, and currently our debt to GDP ratio as a country is in excess of some 67%. And well, based on independent analysis by economists, independently, they seem to suggest that we hit the 70th mark and then we're in trouble.
Yes, because when you hit the 70th, you're HIPIC.
Okay.
So we might become HIMIC, because we are what do you call it? Medium.
Lower medium.
Middle income.
Yeah.
You understand?
Okay, lower middle income.
Yeah, so we are going to become highly indebted, lower middle income. That's HIMIC. So we need to be careful. Because in this modern day Ghana, under President John Mahama, we have oil revenues. President Kufuor didn't get that. And therefore, we cannot give any excuse for going back into HIPIC. We can't give any excuse. That's why the kind of investments we do with these monies, we should be very careful.
Okay.
You know that Maslow, for instance, we send some of the oil money there. So when you hear in the news that somebody has stolen so much money out of it,
but it's not a politician who stole the money.
It's not a politician. It's not a politician.
Yes, it's not a politician.
Yes, but it's a politician who is managing the place. It's a politician who is managing the place.
It's somebody who has been appointed politically, but he's not.
Yeah, but he's a politician. Even if the president appoints you, the president is supposed to take final responsibility for the management of that place. So sometimes we have to be careful about some of these things that we do. And I believe that the President John Mahama administration should show leadership. Because it shouldn't be a situation where everything in this country seems to be crumbling. Even their own targets is crumbling. Even their own GDP growth. It's not correct.
When your party, members of your party and other critics of government make such comments, crumbling and all that, how do you come to those conclusions?
But you provide your own figures that you do a GDP growth rate of say 8%, and then you do 4.2, and even the statistical service also give us another figure 6.9. It shows that the center is not holding. That shows that it's crumbling. It shows that the center is not holding. So for me, it's not that we just get up and say these things, but we say them based on the fact that they have provided the figures and they are not able to achieve those statistics that they want to achieve to improve the good of the country.
I'm just going through some of the networks, and BBC, for example, says, 500,000. Al Jazeera says a million or so to speak. Now, that gives indication that, well, the Ghanaian people are ready for a change. Was that the intent of your demonstration? Just to give perhaps some level of insecurity that is perhaps also persisting in our country. And as a result of that, Ghanaians who perhaps may be in your category, members of your party, want to change?
Every Ghanaian would love that we can do an election today and change the hardships.
It's not every Ghanaian. Every Ghanaian is composed of various members of parties, including your party, including members.
You want me to use the word most Ghanaians?
Including.
If you want me to use the word most Ghanaians, I don't have a problem. Most Ghanaians, because otherwise they won't come there in their numbers. Okay, but like I told you earlier, our responsibility as a responsible party is to follow the rule of law, and we know that December 7th, 2007 will come next year. And therefore we'll wait our turn.
So the next
Ghanaians to use the ballot box.
The next time your party organizes a demonstration, you'll be part of it still?
Yes, I would.
Okay, thank you very much, and thanks for joining me this morning.
Thank you.
Kwabena Dokumenta is a member of parliament for Takrady. He's also a member of the MPP. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going for a break. When we come back, we'll be concluding with our program for the morning.